Welcome to the TRL Footy Show, brought to you by Power FM, live and free from the Toowoomba Sports Club on Power TV Australia. And now, here's your host from the Obie and Cookie Call on Power FM, Andrew O'Brien, a.k.a. Obie.
Well, thank you very much, Robbo, and welcome to the TRL Footy Show for this weekend. Joining me is the TRL faithful, Nathan... Justin Murphy. How am I going? I've been away. Was I away last week?
No, you were here last week.
Was I? I can't remember whether I'm Arthur or Martha here, mate. Are you away today?
No, I'm good. It's always good to be here. And
Justin Murphy, you legend, mate. And he's brought all these 1985 programs in, right? See if you can see that. All right. So that's a photo, and that is Neville Cherry. Fantastic stuff there. Good on you, Murph. Where'd you get those from, mate?
95 footy programs, that one is, and I've got another one, the grand final day of 1995 as well for the TRL.
And are they there with all your penthouses and that type of stuff?
Didn't have any of them.
No, they're not? Okay. And look, joining me, the red-faced man himself, Paul Reeds. Thanks for looking after the shop when I go away, mate.
No, mate, pleasure and glad to be here. To you and Murph, it's always good fun.
Yeah, and look, I love it when you do it, mate, because... I was prepared this week. I was going to say something, Reeds, but it'll come to me, mate. We will sledge through this show, I can tell you, mate.
For sure.
Now, tell us all about the Mustangs. Gee, the Devils put something on them on the weekend, mate, didn't they?
Yeah, they really got into us. The boys were pretty good early on and tried to stick with them pretty early in the match, but big difference, Jerome Burns and Corey Pakes and Brock Dimmitt. Toowoomba boys played with us, last year and the year before, and they're now down there with the Broncos and at North Devils, and they really got into us a bit too, the boys. So still a little bit depleted on injuries, so we're still trying to get back there. But look, the boys are sticking it out, and they're going through a tough time, but they'll keep battling away, mate. And we take on Redcliffe this weekend here at home, Gold Park, Sunday afternoon, 2 o'clock.
They should be an absolute beauty. Yeah, we spoke to Blakey Cullen last week. He was here doing some interviews with Channel 7, and he's still very enthusiastic, as they all are, mate. Yeah,
they're also, getting keen, ready for, to start again fresh, I suppose, next year. But we lost Blakey in the game due to a head knock. So he's been cleared, fortunately, to play this week, but we had to play without two of the forwards last week, who both had to go for the head knock and weren't allowed to return the field, which is fair. That's all good. We'd rather him be safe than to finish off the game.
Anyway, the Phillies, one of the Phillies, they went down to West Panthers in Division 1, and they lost 40 points to 4. The best on ground for us was Carissa Taylor. And then in second division, the ladies also went down to Caboolture, and the best on the ground was another Taylor, Kiara. So well done to the Taylor girls. And this week is a big day on Saturday out at Herb Steinhardt Oval. Division 2 play at 1 o'clock against Aspley. Division 1 play Dave McCall's old side, Burley. That should be a beauty, mate, at 2:30.
Well, I'm sure Dave will have the team up for that and bounce back this weekend. It should be a good day out at Valleys too, and a big crowd, I reckon, out there. They're hoping for.
And I tell you what's going to be a ripper of a game at 4 o'clock, under 18s, Valleys versus South Burnett. As you know, myself and Nev Cherry went over there a couple of weeks ago, and that's South Burnett, and we'll hear how well they did. Very, very well at the 47th Battalion. We'll have Brian Gilroy on to give us all those reports, and that under 18 competition is unbelievable at the moment, mate, isn't it?
It is. It's very good. It gives you a good reason to get to the footy early and watch some good standard of footy early, I think, too. So hopefully some of those guys can come up into the Mustangs team soon too.
And that South Burnett side, they're going real well, aren't they? They've got to do a lot of travelling. They travel probably more than any other side. So
they do.
Yeah. I've been out there a little bit, and those kids out there, they just breathe rugby league, don't they?
And they do, mate. And look, I tell you what, opened my eyes going to Nanango the other day, so it was good. Let's go to the break, and as we go to the break, we're going to an interview with the comeback kid, Colin Green from Dalby. This is the Toowoomba Rugby League Footy Show.
Coming up after the break, we'll review round 13 matches. This is the TRL Footy Show, brought to you by Power FM, live and free on Power TV Australia.
Andrew O'Brien reporting for QRL, TRL Media, and as Cookie said, a bit of closet training here by this young fella, Colin Green. Get the ball, score the easiest drive your whole career, Colin. I tell you what, I've got to ask you, mate. Here you are, the first ever Derby captain for the TRL Premiership. What are you doing back, mate?
Oh, Derek gave me a call during the week, so got a few out and that, and just asked if I could help out, and Yeah, thought I may as well, you know.
And
A long time retired, they reckon, so yeah.
there you are, mate. In 20 minutes in, you thought to yourself, what the heck am I doing out here? Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I'm still asking myself that now, mate. I'm a bit sore after that one, so we'll see how I feel tomorrow. But
Yeah, all right, mate. Well, look, it's great to have you back, Colin. You're going to stick to it?
yeah, I'm pretty 95% sure I'll probably stick the season out, mate. So yeah. Boy, it's good to be back around the boys, and you know we've got a pretty good side again this year. So.
You don't want to do all that closet training.
Yeah, good on you, mate. Have a great rest of the season, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thanks, Avi. Cheers, Cookie. Cheers, guys.
Thanks for joining us for the TRL Footy Show from the Toowoomba Sports Club. Let's get back to Obi and the panel.
Well, thanks a lot, Robbo, me mate from Power FM. And look, on to round 13. And I reckon this game, Wattles against Gatton, was very close. Well, it's hard because when you go to a game that was only last week, Murph, and it was 27-20, I'm saying, well, it was one of the games of the season. We'll sit down and do our awards at the end of the season, but 27-26, yeah, good win by Wattles, mate.
Yeah, the scoreline indicates that, and Wattles again staying up the top of the table, got a win, and Gatton, who are desperate at the moment, it put in a good performance, and we're a bit unlucky, I think.
Yeah, well, it was it had everything. It was 16-0 after Wattles got in front there, and it wasn't because Gatton played bad. It was just Matt Duggan and Jackson Green had the ball on a string. Then at half-time, 16-6, and then Wattles scored right after second half, after half-time, and it was 20 points to 6. And then Gatton got back to 26 points to 20. It was unbelievable, and one try by Daniel Jennings from Gatton was a beauty. He beat 4 players from dummy half from the 30 there, Reeds.
Yeah, that's pretty good though. Gatton, you know, desperate, you know, in 6th place, desperate to get the 2 points and get in there. And, you know, some of the games they come out and they play above themselves and they win, and then they put in a shocker. But obviously got themselves up for that game there against Wattles, who are going along really well this year, aren't they?
Yeah, then 3 minutes from the end, that man Duggan, he puts it over for 1 point, and over she went. But Jackson Green, I actually went for Matty Duggan in the Obi and Cookie Webkey price 3-2-1, but the other 2 guys went for Jackson Green. They were both very good. Daniel Jennings got 2 points, and Matt Duggan got the 1, of course. But how's Gatton season's going? They've lost 1 point to Wattles. They lost 2 points to Valleys, and they probably should have won a few other games around there, Murph.
If you look at them on paper, they're a very strong side. So across the park, you said Daniel Jennings, he's really maturing as a player too now, and they've got some quality halves there and some big forwards. So.
Yeah, that's right. And in reserve grade, Gatton 62, Wattles 20, and that was important because Wattles in the top 5 there in reserve grade. And 2nd division, Gatton 18, Stanthorpe 6. That was a good game. No under 18, of course, last weekend. And then over to Dalby. This was the Hutchison Builders player of the round. Look, this first half, Reeds, was the best half of the season. It was so brutal. And it was 10-4 at half-time. Dalby were in front. And look, it was a mistake-a-thon for Warwick in that second half. But Dalby, how can I put it, Reeds? They've re-entered the competition again, is that right?
Yeah, well, Derek Brady, he's been talking about their consistency and about what the players on the field can do. And he's always been about error-free football, Derek has been. So he'd be happy with his team, even if they won 6-4 if they played and they completed their sets. But, you know, 20-4 over Warwick. Warwick are a good side. They're a big team too as well. So he'd be pretty happy. He's got a lot of young players out there, Derek, in the Dalby. And I see Xavier Manley obviously stood up and got the 3 points for him in that game as well. So he must have had a good game for the Dalby team.
Dalby defending a grand final is hard, isn't it? So I think they've come out this year and they probably weren't where they were last year.
Yeah.
and like you said, they're really building into this season. I think they're sitting pretty good at the moment, and they're going to really shaking up the finals time.
Yeah, well, Xavier Manley reminds me of Adele Perkins. He went to Gatton, played there 4 seasons. When he first went there, he was in the back row, and then he's developed into one of the comp's best front rowers. And similarly with Xavier, if you remember 3 or 4 seasons ago, you know, his work rate wasn't as high as it is now, but he had an absolute blinder. He took that whole pack on, and look, you've got Gary Ellery, you've got all those guys there, Jared Bradfield,
Bloomfield,
Bloomfield's, you've got Mickey Bloomfield, Bradfield, and look, he had a fantastic game. But a couple of other interesting points. It's not so much the 20-4 win, but it's the 4 points that Warwick only scored. What I was looking for was a Steve Franciscus versus Fui Mano and throw in Dylan Galloway and Zach Morris. Steve Franciscus, very cagey man, you know. He knows just a good man will always be tackled around a big man will always get around the legs, and that's what Franciscus did a number on Fui.
He's a very smart player. He's been around for a long time now, Steve, and again, he'll have this Derby side in good stead for the future games coming up.
Yeah, what delicious stuff there, mate. What matchups?
Yeah, I reckon it's great. I'd love to see, but that's the same before. Derek could be happy about that mistake-free football, and a lot of that's in defence. So obviously their defensive reads were right, and they got them right most of the time. Don't he let the 4 points across the line?
Yeah, I think Dalby in their run to the finals, their only top 5 side they play is the second last round. I think it's against Waddles. So yeah, they're poised quite well at the moment. The 3 points, as we said, went to Xavier Manley. Someone told me his real name's Francis Xavier Manley, mate.
I just know him as Beaver.
Yeah, that's right. We've got him Beaver. And then Mick Bloomfield, sorry about that. It's actually M-I-C-K. Mick, one of the premier players in our competition, and Mitchell Taylor, he played very well in the halves as well. In reserve grade, what a good win this was. 24 points to 18. Dalby were above Warwick on the ladder, and Warwick now have a real chance to make the 5 there as well. Second division, Warwick 30, Dalby 12. Now on to Brothers and South. This was for the Johnson Memorial Trophy, and look, a competitive game. I spoke to both coaches, and there was a really good feel there. Of course, Paddy Johnson actually got out of hospital. He had a bit of sugar problem, nothing too serious, to give the Memorial Trophy. He's the strapper for Brothers, and his wife Cheryl is a stalwart of South. So look, there was still a good crowd there, Murph.
They're 2 great people of Toowoomba Rugby League who've given a lot of their time, and they're greatly appreciated too. So I know Angus Hearn, I was talking to him, his brother didn't play in this game, he was meant to play for Brothers, so he was a bit upset about getting one over his brother.
Oh, right, that's
well.
right. You know, but Robert Taylor got the 3 points, Angus Hearn the 2 points, and Jaron Bender got the 1 point. But look, what a great day for the Johnson family, Paul. Yeah,
they've been great contributors to rugby league, and nice people with it. They're appreciated by just about everyone you meet, and you know, what a great honour for their son that we sadly lost to rugby league only just over 12, 18 months ago now. And
I think it was a bit longer, but yes, but it was a very sad loss, and it really hit the rugby league community quite hard. But look, what a great celebration of Brett's life there. In reserve grade, Brothers 24-14 over South. Then on to Highfields. Look, this score really surprised me, Murph. You know, like 54 points to 22 Highfields over Pittsworth.
Yeah, it does surprise me, the scoreline. Pittsworth had a lot to play for. I'm just wondering a little bit if Pittsworth have given up their season already now. I'm not sure. But.
Well, look, I think that's waving a red flag against the bull for this weekend's match against Gatton for Pittsworth, you know, and it'd be bitterly disappointing for the club, including their supporters, and I suggest their coach Ian Braxton, Paul.
Yeah, Bracky won't be standing for that. He'll be trying to get the boys up. He'll be trying to get every point out. I actually think I think Pittsworth realise now they can't make the finals.
Yep.
And I think you might see a different Pittsworth come out of this. I think they might start enjoying their football. The pressure's sort of off them in some ways.
Yep.
And I think they'll play a little bit different style of football and throw a little bit of caution to the wind. And I reckon they might upset, and that'll be their goal, will be to upset some people and maybe to change the top 5 around.
I think so. And look, Zane Miller from Highfields had his best game of the season. Nick Snitcherling for Pittsworth got the 2 points, and Dale Madden he got the 1 point.
That James Dempsey scored no points in that, and he still leads the Player of the Year, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, he was on fire there for about 3 or 4 weeks in a row, wasn't he, guys?
Yeah, he's been going really well. He's a good young half, and he's a real good organiser and a tough boy with it.
He's still improving as well. His best footy's ahead of him as well.
He's
That's
only
a good
young,
thing for him. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, you know, like, I hate to say it, but look, the Pittsworth Danes revolve around James and Daniel York, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They're two of the, I suppose, the heart and soul, but they're two of the organisers on the field as well.
Yeah. In reserve grade, Highfields 26-18 over Pittsworth. And then what a game this was, an unusual game. Valleys and Oakey, no love lost between these two sides, that's for sure. At half-time it was 30 points to 6, and Oakey got to 30 points to 22. 3 unanswered tries after second half, and then only a couple of late tries for Valleys in that match to take it 42-24, Murph.
Yeah, and Steve Rogers playing against his old club, he would have been up for that game, but yeah, getting out to a 30-point lead and sort of surrendering it a little bit. I don't think Brett would be too happy with that.
And Jason Sharp come across from Rugby Union last year. I think he's been amongst the points this last month. He's on fire at the moment, Valleys, isn't he, Reeds?
Well, I think he was the one who turned it around for him in the Madsen Rasmussen final.
Yep,
and
he won he scored the winning try.
Yeah, he was the catalyst for, you know, getting in amongst them as well, and he's a tough boy.
He's always been a very tough, good physical defender and that, but his attack, I think his attacks as he's getting a bit older is improving a bit as well.
He's extremely fit. He's always fit. He takes good care of himself. So good to see him get the 3 points there in that game. And Oakey would have took a little bit out of that by getting so close to him after they'd surrendered such a big lead. So
yeah, well, they
good for the Bears.
Yeah, well, they put Emmanuel Hip Charay in the centres this time and left Pegler. And I don't know who went into the 5'8" position there, so that was probably a way to go. Jason
Tooks told me he's playing a bit like a 5'8". So.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Tommy mightn't be real happy about that.
3 points to Jason Sharp, 2 to winger Jordan Boney. You got a double, and Stephen Rogers got the other 1 point. Reserve grade 38-0, Valleys over Oakey. And then look, what a great win by Oakey over Valleys in second division, 24 points to 20. So look, one of the things is about the refereeing, and look, one thing I had get feedback was young Martin Baldo, a referee who refereed that Valleys Oakey game. So a breath of fresh air for the referees' ranks.
It is good. It's good to see new referees, and referees need all the support we can get, so it's really good to see.
And what about Ian McGill? You know, every time I see Ian, I'm gonna make sure, mate, can you tie my shoelaces up, mate, you know, because you're the best shoelace tie-upper in the whole competition. Is that right, Reds?
No, mate, I'm not commenting on that.
Yeah, you wear slip-ons, okay?
That's exactly right.
That's right. But look, congratulations to you, Ian. There was a photo of you tying up the shoelaces of a young ball boy there as well, and it went viral right over the rugby league world. And not only did they know that, it was in the paper, and he said that he also tied it up a bit later on in the game. Is that right?
Workplace health and safety, I think.
Obviously didn't do a real good job the first time.
Okay, well,
double not the second time.
You know, let's have a look at an interview with Martin after the Valleys Oakey game. This is the TRL Footy Show.
Up next, we'll look at the points table and preview round 14 matches for this weekend. This is the TRL Footy Show, brought to you by Power FM.
Nev Cherry reporting to the Toowoomba Rugby League, and I'm here with the first grade referee from today's match between the Oakey Bears and the Valleys Roosters, who made his debut, Martin Baldo. What was that like doing the big game today, Martin?
Oh, really good. It was a good contest. It came down to the wire, and it was really exciting to get out there the first time and see how the grade fellas do it.
Well, mate, I'm going to give you a compliment here. I've seen lots of referees, and I think the referee ranks are on the up. But the thing I liked about your game and the way you controlled that game is you kept the sides apart. It was a fast, open game. And when you get a fella like Tommy Friend paying you a compliment and giving you a pat on the back, mind you, take it, because you don't give too many.
Yeah.
Mate, you should take that, because he says it how he sees it, and he can be rather critical at times, but he certainly complimented you on your effort.
Yeah, awesome.
That's
so fantastic.
Is that the way you've always refereed games? Like, I like that they were 10 metres apart each side. You didn't take any crap from the players. If a decision had to be made, you made it, and you got on with the game.
Yeah, that's always what they've taught us from the ground up, is just really keep them apart and let the game do its thing. That's really where we start and where we finish, really. So,
mate, what I did like was that the crowd got into the game, and I think that's because they could see the spectacle unfolding, and which, you know, it was 30-24. It could have went either way. And do you feel like you felt any pressure out there, or just cool as a cucumber?
Oh, yeah, the tempo gets up a bit around that time, but really you just got to put your head down and really focus on what really matters, and that's concentrating hard and getting the game to an end.
Well, mate, you certainly must be an up-and-comer, because over on that far side, I've seen about 4 or 5 referee bosses over there, or experts, judging your performance, and they all come away with glowing reports.
Yeah, they've a few of those guys have been there since day one and supported me, and they do a great job with the growth of refereeing and bringing kids up to a higher grade and improving. So they really do help.
So where would you like to take it, Martin? Would you like to do, like, stay around here in A-grade grand final? Or?
Yeah, well, that's the goal. I'm just switching between 18s and A-grade at the moment, so hopefully that can take me somewhere special in the future.
Mate, good stuff. Well, Martin, you did very well. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your attendance. Welcome to our staff.
Hi, this is Mick Jagger on
Classic Vinyl.
This is Debbie Harrow from Blondie.
This is Jimmy Barnes here.
Stevie Nicks from Fleetwood Mac.
This is Reverend Willie G from ZZ Top.
The best tracks from the greatest albums of our generation.
That's right.
From your breakfast and coffee to your drive home.
We've got the classic hits that make your workday.
Then you got a job to do.
Go by a lot faster.
Hey, if we haven't said it lately, thanks for listening. The home of classic rock.
Don't touch the dial.
PowerFMradio.com.au.
Whether you're a professional musician, a weekend warrior, or just starting out, you need to talk to the experts at Royce Music. With over 35 years experience, Royce Toowoomba's oldest music store specialise in guitars, drums and sound equipment, and can even repair and maintain your equipment. Call them today on 46 327 377, drop into their showroom at 17 Bowen Street, or find them on Facebook. Royce Music, selling Toowoomba's finest musical instruments.
Hi, I'm Neil from CGD Group, and we do printing with imagination. Our products and imaging have that wow factor. Whether it be business cards, flyers, the Coffee Gazette, or our brand new A5 video folders and animation. Have your business branding remembered. Call us today on 4639 5553. CGD Group, printing with imagination.
On Power TV Australia, we take a frank look at computers, the internet and social media with a team of experts from around the world with Switched On IT. Learn what makes the internet tick and how to keep your kids safe online. Discover a whole new world of entertainment at www.powertvaustralia.com or download the app from the Google Play Store.
Welcome back to the TRL Footy Show from the Toowoomba Sports Club, live and free on Power TV Australia. Now it's back to Obi and the panel for a recap of the points table and our preview of round 14.
Yeah, well, thanks very much, Robbo, and what a nice interview from Martin Baldo. Let's go to the points table in A grade. We've got Valleys and Wattles on 22. Now, there's a bye for Valleys this weekend, and look, we're all sitting back and looking at where this points table is going, and we've done the mathematics and we've done the predictions and so forth. I have no idea. And Valleys 22 on top, for and against. Wattles 22, and they're 2 games clear of a very important win on the weekend for Dalby. They're 18. Highfields Warwick on 16, and Highfields have another 100 points for and against advantage over Warwick's for and against. And then Gatton, Oakey on 10, Pittsworth on 8, Gundawindi on 4, Brothers on 4 and South on 0. Reeds, what's your mathematic equations been over the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think it's where it probably should be, but I think Dalby, as you said earlier, not going to have to play too many in the top 5 coming towards the end. If Valleys or Wattles drop one of those games, do you get points for a bye this year?
No, you don't, mate.
So
no.
Wattles, if they should get the win this week over Brothers. Valleys stay on 22, Wattles go to 24. Dalby are playing South, so you expect them to get the win as well.
Yep.
So you're looking at Dalby getting up to 20. I think Dalby might sneak into the top 2.
Yeah, you're right, but Valley's got a couple of tough games. They've got Gatton and Warwick as well, and they also play Valleys next week, Murph. So again, next week's going to be, if Valleys beat Wattles, they'll go back into first on for and against.
Yeah, it is. It's the top 5 is very congested there, but yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see that back into this season before the finals.
Yeah, that's right. Well, let's look at the reserve grade. And again, look, it's been tight all year, no different this week. Highfield's on 19, Gatton Valleys on 18, Pittsburgh 16, 14 is Wattles, 13 is Dalby, Gundawindi and Warwick on 11. As I said, Warwick had a very important win there. Any of those, 8 sides can make the top 5 there for reserve grade. South, Oakey on 4, Brothers on 2. Under 18, they come back from a bye this week, just reiterating that points table. We've got South on 20, Highfields, Dalby on 19. Gatton and South play Dalby this week in under 18s. That should be an absolute ripper of a game. And then we've got Gatton on 18, South Burnett on 17. They play Valleys, who are on 12. Gundawindi, Pittsworth, Warwick, Brothers, Wattles and Oakey. You can see that on your screen. In the second division, yeah, very close again. Gatton on 16, Dalby on 14. Pittsworth on 13, Stanthorpe, who lost to Gatton on the weekend, on 12, Warwick on 10, Oakey on 10, important win for them against Valleys on 5, Brothers on 2, South out of that competition. So let's look at round 14, the preview this week, where we've got Gundawindi against Warwick. I think, guys, that Warwick going out there, and I think from memory, I don't think Gundawindi actually won at home. But one thing they have got is one of the best crowds, right, on a Saturday night. I mean, they are huge over there, and congratulations. And I think if you see on Facebook, they're celebrating their 50th year, and I think it's about the 1st of September, Murph.
Yeah, I know it's a big celebration from the 50th year celebration.
That's right. It's the night before the TRL Grand Final.
Yeah.
See things. So, what if their reserve grade and under 18 make the Grand Final, Reeds?
Oh, won't that be a ripper?
What a weekend and a half.
Should be a big party if the one of the Boars teams can get up, or both of them. So, yeah, that'll be a really good game out there, Gundawindi and Warwick. And as you say, while Gundy are probably down on the ladder a little bit, they've been unlucky to lose a few, and most of the teams don't get it all their own way. Warwick's going to be really pushed out there to beat Gundy at home on Saturday night.
And Murph, what do Gundy have to do to beat Warwick out there?
I think they've got to start well, obviously. Warwick coming off a loss last week, they'll be a little bit unsettled. So if Gundy can start well and apply pressure early on, and maybe in the Warwick players' heads, it might be a bit hard for him again, but I think definitely starting well. Ronnie David, he's a good player. If he plays well, they go well, I think.
Yeah, it seems to be that. But I do like the halves, Joel Curry, young Carter at the back, McGrady at 5'8". So, look, they got a good side there, and they're building, obviously, now for 2019. They're going to be a ripper side next year. Now, on to our next game, Gatton and Pittsworth. This is live on Power FM special events from 5:30, Gatton versus Pittsworth down at Carl Park, our second Saturday night in a row at Carl Park. And look, this should be a really, really good game. Pittsworth will be really smarting from last week, and obviously the season as well. And these two sides have always been good games, haven't they, Murph?
Yeah, two out of town teams coming together. They're always good clashes with their support of both teams. And Gatton now at the complex they've got it down there, it's a great place to go on a Saturday night, isn't it? So.
Yeah. And Reed, so what have Pittsworth got to do to beat Gatton on the weekend?
Yeah, what I said before, I think a little bit of the pressure's going to be off them. They'll throw a bit of caution to the wind. They'll play a little bit more open style football, I think. And I think that actually might help them and come to the fore a bit. And they'll really push Gatton. Gatton will be needing the 2 points to stay in touch with the top 5, otherwise they'll find themselves with the rest of them out of the season as well.
Yeah,
so.
I think you're right, Reed. Yeah, I mean, like with Dempsey, O'Shea's going well, and you've got Webber at the back. Throwing the ball around, Pittsworth can really do some damage and throw in Curtis Sharler as well.
Yeah, got to move them big Gatton forwards around, keep them moving all the time, and if they do that, I think Pittsworth will come away with the win.
In fact, what I do is keep away from them. What do you think, Murph?
Yeah, no, I think Gatton will win down there. I think they were a little bit unlucky. Pittsworth, again, Bracky will be filthy with them, but I think if Gatton can start well again and put the pressure on Pittsworth, they're in a bit of trouble for this game.
Yeah, look, Dane, step up for your supporters, and look, I know Gatton, they'll be there in force as they always are. And on to the next game, Dalby and South. Well, as we said, Dalby re-entered the competition last week by a really stand up and notice game against Warwick. And look, I'd like to congratulate all the sides that embrace the Tigers visiting them all year, and Dalby are always perfect host, as we saw in the TRL Footy show a few weeks ago. You see, and this is going to be no different. No,
it's going to be a big Saturday night out there because they get a big crowd, Dalby, at the best of times. But Saturday night, with the great setup they got out there at their leagues club, and the ground out there on a drove past the other day looks fantastic. So it's going to be good. Souths are going to obviously be playing for some pride, but Derek Brady, he's not going to be worried about the scoreline. He's going to be worried about how they play and mistake-free football, and he'll be trying to get his combinations right coming into the finals.
That's right, and on to Highfields Oakey. This is our Hutchins Builders match of the round. This is going to be a ripper. I spoke to Tom Friend before I came on air. They're fully fit, and had their tails in the air because they finally got something out of what they've been asking from their players. Now, Murph, what I will say, haven't Oakey played a lot of the top five, so they're really match fit for and ready for this Highfields game on Sunday.
They have. Oakey have played a lot of the good sides and competed really well against them, and I think they're not happy just competing. They want to get a scalp as well. So I think I was talking to Mark Tukey earlier in the year. He said Highfield's one of the best teams that he's played against, and Oakey will be up for this game, I'm pretty sure too.
Yeah, well, Highfield's only 3 weeks ago lost to Dalby and to Warwick, bounced back against Pittsworth. Oakey's a danger game for them again, isn't it, Reeds?
Yeah, especially if Oakey can start well. If they don't give away that big start like they did against Valleys, if they start well, then if Highfields panic at all, you never know where the result could be. I think Gus will be all over him, and he'll be looking to make sure they're getting their mind ready for the finals, and he'll make sure that they're not dropping any points coming up to there. So I think they'll be way too good for the Bears.
Yeah, well, as we've been saying, Reeds, is that Oakey played that free-flowing game, but look, it's too much at stake for the Eagles for me, and they've started to get some good quality players back from injury, aren't they?
So Tommy Hines is back this week as well, so he'll add a bit of starch to their forwards, which I think they'll need that against Oakey as well.
Exactly right, and then on to Brothers and Waddles. Now, this is a game which is very important for Waddles, and the reason is that they play Valleys the next week. Valleys will be coming off a bye, and Waddles, by their own admission, have been bleeding tries in a certain period. Thanks very much for that, Reeds.
You're right, mate. Help you out all the time.
Yeah, I know. It's fantastic, mate. And especially last week, they had 3 or 4 tries against Gatton, and of course, everyone remembers the Matson Rasmussen. So they'll want to fine-tune stuff, won't they, Murph?
They definitely will. I think I still think Waddles are the favourites for the comp this year, so I think they'll definitely want to fine-tune a few things to justify that as well.
And Brothers, well, they're improving. I think they're going away. They're going along nicely. Remember early in the year, Reeds, that they were bleeding points.
Scores.
They were bleeding points, and now they've stopped the bleed, and they're actually competing well, aren't they?
Yeah, well, they nearly scared Valleys only a number of weeks ago, coming into the Madsen Rasmussen.
And Gundawindi, remember?
Gundy.
Lost on the death,
You know, I thought they probably should have beat the Tigers a little bit more convincingly last week, but they didn't. But yeah, look, Waddles, I think, will be starting to really click up a gear now, and they're going to kick away with this.
It's funny, here we are talking about the games on the weekend, and not one of the top five teams play each other.
No, it's unusual, isn't it?
But it's still exciting competition, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It's very exciting this year, I think it is. And there's a couple of teams that have done it tough, but they know where they're at. They have been honest about it, and I think it's good for the future of our comp as well.
Coming up after the break, it's Obi's Rant. This is the TRL Footy Show, brought to you by Power FM, live and free on Power TV Australia.
Sunday Night at the Movies. Latest release movies brought to you exclusively by US filmmakers including Lima Films. Sunday Night at the Movies, so join us every Sunday night at 7 p.m. right here on Power TV Australia.
Hi, this is Mick Jagger on
Classic Vinyl.
This is Debbie Harrow from Blondie.
This is Jimmy Barnes here.
Stevie Nicks from Fleetwood Mac.
This is Rappin' Willie G from ZZ Top.
The best tracks from the greatest albums of our generation.
That's right.
From your breakfast and coffee to your drive home.
We've got the classic hits that make your workday.
When you got a job to do,
go by a lot faster.
Hey, if we haven't said it lately, thanks for listening. The home of classic rock.
Don't touch the dial.
Power FM.
PowerFMRadio.com.au.
Playing indoor netball, cricket, soccer, dodgeball and volleyball is a great way to keep fit and catch up with friends, and the place to go and play any or all of these sports is Action Indoor Sports. There are competitions for juniors and adults of all levels of ability, from beginners to the most experienced. Action Indoor Sports is home to Inflatable World, an inflatable theme park for all ages, and new and coming soon, indoor softball. Go and see for yourself. Action Indoor Sports is located at 31 Spencer Street, Toowoomba. Check out the website ToowoombaIndoorSports.com or phone 46359999.
Well, welcome along to My Music. I'm Jeff Black. Let me tell you about the T-Bird Diner. Well, just over here, we've got a Ford custom line that's crashed through the wall. Next episode on My Music on Power TV Australia. I'll see you then.
Thanks for joining us for the TRL Footy Show. And now it's time for Obi's Rant.
Now, interesting subject this week. We saw only a couple of nights ago where the Australian basketball side and the Filipino basketball side got into an almighty dust-up. And look, I will go back to David Warner and Steve Smith. The Australian Cricket Association lost a $10 million sponsorship deal. Now, I ask you now, David Warner, he lost a grey Nicholas bat sponsorship deal. Now, he has a Whopper bat, and it is the #1 bat in the whole world of cricket. Now, what's going to happen with the basketballers? Well, that's what I'm saying. But what my point is what teams do in front, and we're so social media now in front, you affect not only them, right? As we see, individuals lose financial help, they lose sponsorship, and it's no different here in the grassroots footy. What you do, and we have, say, Malays and so forth, but I think we do it really, really well here in Toowoomba Rugby League. You know, our judiciary is down so low, it's down 20% from last year, you know, and again, it's really important we've got more sponsors because we've got a better product. But it just takes one thing, as we've seen with cricket and basketball. It can be a tough go, can't it, Murph?
Definitely it can be, yeah. The actions of people definitely determine what happens, especially with a younger audience as well. Or no, young basketball players looking at that. If I was a parent of one of them, I'd be furious at my kid watching something like that. So it was a terrible look, I think, for basketball.
And joining me for the last part of the show is TRL Chairman Brian Guru, and it's timely to bring you in on this competition. It's a timely reminder that we're coming into finals, and you're in control of your own destiny, aren't you, when you're at the clubs?
Absolutely, and talk about that sponsorship, and people don't want to be associated with nonsense, right? And the second thing is, when you're talking about young players, it's mums that make decisions about what sport their boys are going to play and their girls are going to play, and we don't want anything that's a bad image. And we already have the thing that the mums don't like. They don't like the collision sports, but so anything else that can detract from us, it can hurt us. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think also, you know, like it's everything too. Let's say that something happens, right? Well, you've got your star players in your club, and they're going to say, "Well, no, I don't like what you're doing. I'm going to leave your club." All right. And I've seen sponsors in many clubs. I've been in more clubs than Shirley Bassey that have said, "No, I'm not sponsoring you guys anymore." So it's a timely reminder. But look, what we're also going to look at, and let's get that Player of the Year graphic up, and I think we've got it down here, and we didn't have it last week. And what an interesting concept it is, Murph. We spoke about it last week, and the players are really enjoying having a little bit of a glimpse of the Player of the Year. And as I said last week, the cream goes to the top. James Dempsey, right, who hasn't played that well the last couple of weeks, he's on top with 16. And then we've got Dylan Chown, Corey McGrady and Michael Bloomfield, who got 2 points on the weekend. And then look, let's just keep going down the top 10. Daniel Hayer, and congratulations to Daniel for Dylan, for making the University Australian side. And there's going to be plenty of fundraisers for Dylan over the next couple of weeks. So dig deep and help him, as we did with Jared Lee last year when he made that side. Matty Duggan's up there, Sam Beatros, Jackson Green, Emmanuel Hip Saray. So look, it's a good insight, isn't it, mate?
Oh, it is a good insight, and it's good luck to James Dempsey with Pittsworth. Maybe they've lost a chance to make the finals this year, but if the team still go well and James gets Player of the Year, it's a good look for that club still too. So.
Yeah, what I've liked, Brian, and you've been involved, is that these little snippets that go out on social media, right, the recipients really like those little Player of the Year, Team of the Week and Player of the Round snippets, don't they?
They do, and there's sometimes a little bit of back and forwards between the players having a bit of a dig, but there's also some, you know, some genuine congratulations and that sort of stuff on there. I might point out though that of course is only half the points for the season. So
yeah, that's right.
There's a whole
other
series
of
secret votes there. No, those things on Facebook, the snippet, Team of the Week's always a bit of fun, and
yeah.
And as Murph says there, bloke like Dingo Dempsey, he's performed pretty well in a side that hasn't won many games, but he's always been there amongst the points every week. So.
Yeah, and I think, Murph, you know, like with Dingo Dempsey being up the top, it's up to his teammates to really perform to help players like Dennis and Yorkie's on there as well to get into that points mix. Hey.
Oh, definitely it is.
Yep.
Oh, there's a player, Ned never won Toowoomba Player of the Year, and he still talks about that. So it is a prestigious thing to get, I think, this. He's still filthy that he didn't get it in the years he played up here. So.
The referees were voting in those days.
Yeah, well, Brian did mention, I did mention it last week, is that the two coaches actually, they vote either side, and it goes all towards the Webke Prize medal. And let's not forget about the Obion Cookie medal. Now, this is for the play of the day. It'll be the play of the year. Toowoomba Sports Club is the sponsor of this medal. And look, there's been some fantastic stuff. As I said, Daniel Jennings' try on the weekend from dummy half on the 30-metre line. He beat 4 Waddles players. I go back to round 1 where Jason Wardrop, he scored 3 tries, and for a front rower to do that is really good. And there's been some fantastic tries and efforts. I like Braden Wilson, his match-winning try against Highfields. It was 12-10 at the time, and he scored about 10 minutes ago, and that was a real play of the day. So it's a good concept, isn't it, Murph?
Oh, it's a really good play, and I've seen some of Corey McGrady stuff he's done as well, which he'd be in contention for it as well. So
yeah, that's right.
It is a good thing to see and good to watch.
Okay, so Brian, I want to talk to you about the rep games on the weekend, and look, congratulations to these players. If we can get that graphic up there, that'd be fantastic. For under 18, Zach Croft, Zach Zach Miles, Josh Collier, and Dylan Flanagan in under-18s. And the under-18s won the competition, Brian.
They did. They played really well. A bunch of boys who, we threw them together, and you never know what you're going to get at a carnival. And the carnival was really tough. It was a really physical carnival, and we played our country cousins, the Roma boys, in the final, and we just hung on there. If you want to talk about a player of the year, there was a young man called Henry Adler. He's from the Highfields Club. Caught the ball on his own line around 100 metres to score at the other end. Didn't have a hand laid on him, and that could go well with player of the year.
It's a great concept, that, isn't it? Because some of these kids, for different reasons, they're not going to go on to a higher level for footy, but this will be highlights of their careers, I think. So,
and a couple of those kids there, like Zach Croft is a kid who's got some real talent, big strong kid, and he's had a year off with a knee reconstruction. He hurt his knee at the Competition Shield this time last year, and this was his second weekend of playing footy, and he was pretty sore by the end of it, but he's a dynamite kid. And Josh Keller from going to Windsor, he's a machine. He's just an absolute machine when he got the footy, so he's going to be a really good footballer too. And those who've watched a bit of first grade at Valleys will know what Zach Miles can do out there. He scored a couple of tries in the...
Yeah, they're all good, great players. And obviously there's a lot more of just the players that made the rep side. But congratulations, under 18s. They are the title holders for Central Division, so well done. And in under 20s, they missed out on the final. They won their playoff for third and fourth there. And the congratulations to Andrew Richardson, Will O'Grady, Sam Beatros, Harry Potter Sullivan, Malik Brown and Cody Evans. What I do like about that under 20s in the Central Division, that Harry Sullivan made the under 20s Central Crows side, as did his brother Ben Sullivan. So that'd be a nice talking point at the breakfast table, wouldn't it, Brian?
Would be. And Harry, he carved him up a few times from dummy. He's very fast out of dummy half, and obviously, and I mentioned that Andrew Richardson, he was a player of the carnival, and
yeah,
quite often you see that comes from the winning side, but it came from our side. It came third, and people are starting to get a bit more aware of that boy playing for Waddle. He's an absolute gun, and he's going to be a very good footballer in our competition.
Well, it's funny. I go back to a conversation I had with Travis Burns. I said, "Where'd you get this Andrew Richardson from?" And he said, "Oh, I just turned up at training one night, you know." It's sort of like he was walking down the street and saying, "Oh, do you want to play footy?" You're going, "Oh, okay." I just don't think it sort of bent the truth there a bit, I think, Burnsy. But
we'll they just turn up like that in Clifton and Elra.
Apparently he's a local boy. He went away to boarding school, St Edmunds in Ipswich, and he played a bit for the Jets down there, but he also played Queensland Schools Rugby Union, as far as I know, so no, he can play.
Yeah, but what a good concept. I think it's the first time we've had this Colts players that are under 20, non-Mustangs playing in this competition. So what was the talk between you guys for the following years on that, mate?
Everyone's really keen to, they just think it's a wonderful concept. The boys were great. They really bought into the, the Clydesdale thing with us, and they tried so hard. There was times when, maybe through errors, but they had to defend their line, and I think a sign of a good side is how well they defend their own line, and both those sides just defended and defended and defended. Sometimes because they had to, because they dropped the ball a few times. But it would have been easy to turn it up, but they didn't. They just kept coming, and no, they were a great bunch of boys. Had a good time together, and bus trips were always fun. And the staff we had, in Coach Richie Lee with the 18s, everyone knows Rich, and he gives what he gives. And Lyndon McGinn from out of Pittsworth, he also played for South, of course, as a player himself, and all the staff that went up. It was just a really good experience, and we're immediately talking about what we're going to do next year, and how we can improve a few things and whatever, so we can do the same thing next year.
Now, Murph, before I get to you about the state of Origin, look, some unfortunate news this week, Brian, where the TRL admin office has been broken into. It's sort of just so sad, and you grit your teeth on taking charity money.
It is. It's yeah. As you know, you and I, we work. We do our work there. Murph comes in. We do it all for nothing. We're volunteers. We have and just to have stuff stolen from us that we're now going to have to replace, or we lost some cash. Had to repair some windows. We're probably now going to have to look at some better security measures. It's we're talking a few $1,000s that would be better spent on footy, not on keeping people out of our building. Lost a couple of computers. Bit of a hint out there: if you're going to steal a computer, take the power cord with it, then it'll probably work better. And don't take ones that are
really. But we got one back on the Crims, didn't we?
When they're password protected too, that makes it a bit hard to use as well. So, but we do lose a bit of cash. You don't get it back, and you don't get your computers back. So it's going to cost us a bit of money to get ourselves back where we were.
Sad time there, but look, and on to State of Origin, and Murph's State of Origin's the last show before the last State of Origin, which is next Wednesday.
It is Wednesday, and I'll be going down to the game and cheering on the team again. Hopefully we can turn a good one in for Billy Slater's last game there in the Queensland jersey.
And I'm speaking to Greg Roberts from Power FM, and he was saying he was a closet New South Welshman supporter. There's no such thing, Robbo, okay? You're New South Wales, you're the enemy. We are Queensland, right? Blues forever. Yeah, Blues forever, you see. So, well, it's going to be great for Billy Slater, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a great occasion. He's going to captain the team as well, so I think he deserves it. And Queensland are up against it a little bit, but I think they like being in this position as well.
And they've been talking about naming that stadium down there as well. So a lot of talk, especially on social media, about what they're going to name it. What would you name it, mate?
I have to.
I call it the Obi Centre. No?
Still Lang Park, I don't know. It's hard to,
and you hit the nail right on the head. I vote for history. I reckon Lang Park. Let's bring the Lang Park back. What do you reckon, Brian?
Johnny Lang was a great player.
It wasn't after Johnny Lang. He wasn't born when there was a name there as well. But I do think, look, whatever they do, I think this day and age, they're always going to go for a high-profile sports person like Wally Lewis. But look, I will say the Polly's worked bloody hard to get those stadiums in there. You know, and Terry McEnroth, I knew him personally, mate, and what a tremendous fella, irrespective of politics, you know, and they really tried hard and they brought a great product. And if it wasn't for that stadium, where would Brisbane be or Queensland Footy be? Is that right?
No, it's one of the world's best stadiums, isn't it? And we're pretty lucky to have it not far away from us as well. So.
Thanks for coming, Murph. I'm away next week. Thanks for Paul Reedy. He'll take over from me next week. Thanks so much for coming in, Brian.
Cheers, man.
And we look forward to seeing you. This is the TRL Footy Show.
This has been another edition of the TRL Footy Show. Thanks to our major sponsors, Power FM, Royce Music and Computer Troubleshooters Toowoomba West. If you're in business and interested in advertising on Power TV or Power FM, you can contact us by phone or email. The details are on the screen. This has been a Power TV Australia production in conjunction with Power FM. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and remember to download the Power TV Australia app from the Google Play Store. Thanks for your company for another edition of the TRL Footy Show. I'm Robbo. See you next week.